The University of Texas swimming and diving team comes to this year's championship ranked 4th nationally, with their sights set on defending their national title from a year ago. The two greatest challenges come from the San Francisco Bay Area. The #2 ranked Stanford Cardinal, winners of their 30th straight Pac-10 title, are looking for their first national title in 13 years. While their conference rival Cal Golden Bears hope that the talent has propelled them to a #1 national ranking can earn them their first championship since 1980. The men's NCAA Swimming and Diving Championship is next on ESPN. Welcome to the 2011 NCAA Men's Swimming and Diving Championships. Hi, everybody. I'm Trey Bender. 6 events are in the books here at the championships and 3 teams at the forefront. Right now, Texas, Stanford, and Cal, as you look at the standings. We bring in our experts now for swimming and diving, Rowdy Gaines, and diving, also Cynthia Potter. And this is a tournament which is very exciting, Rowdy. We have stars. We also have some teams that are in the team race. It'll be interesting.
There's no question about it, Trey. If you think about it, 3 teams have a legitimate shot of winning this title. First of all, you've got Stanford. They're led by the senior Austin Staub, who can pretty much do anything: fly, IM, sprint, freestyle. And trust me, they're going to need Austin Staub to swim fast if they're going to have a chance. Then there's Cal. They have a lot of superstars on this team, but none are bigger than Nathan Adrian, the senior Olympic gold medalist, one of the fastest swimmers on earth. And he would love to lead Cal to their first title in 31 years. But don't forget about Texas. They really don't have any superstars, Trey, but they have a superstar coach. His name is Eddie.
Man, a couple of years ago. But it's been a couple of years, and they're not only going to want him to score in 1 or 2 events, they're going to need him to score in all 3 diving events.
David Badaya, meanwhile, he's the star power for Purdue.
Oh, he's the star of the field, no doubt about it. Worldwide, he's recognized. And this is his final NCAA appearance because he's decided after this his junior year, he's going to go pro. So he has a lot of reasons to want to pick up titles number 5, 6, and 7 here. He's going to try and win all 3.
A lot of energy expected here in the building in the championships here in Minneapolis. Here is how the scoring works for the championships. 20 points first place. Second place will get you 17 points. Third place 16, all the way down to 1 point for 16th place. And again, relays earning double points. The 200 medley relay takes center stage here. There's a look at the NCAA and American marks in 09 set by Auburn and Texas. But California in the spotlight here. A chance to lay claim to first place here at this juncture. Could be a big start to a big day for the Bears.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. It's ironic that going into this meet, we talked about 3 teams, Trey. Cal, Stanford, Texas. Guess what? They're all right next to each other. There they are. Lanes 4, 5 is Texas, and Stanford in 6. They're the top qualifiers. This is the same exact relay that won last year, except for one person. That is their superstar, Nathan Adrian, and now he anchors. You think what he went. Now you'll see Degania start to take off now. Span's got to keep it close. Span is really good from Texas, right to his right.
Cal in the gold, Caps in lane 4, Span in Texas in lane 5, right below him.
Deganiak's going by, and Span's an Olympian, and he looked like he was standing still next to Degania. He just has so much speed, and this is another crucial leg for Cal. They don't have their best butterfly or shields. They're saving him for individual events later on. More swimming for Cal.
Graham Moore, the senior, trying to set up the anchor leg in Nathan Adrian. He's the 3rd leg here. It's coming down to this. For Texas, Jimmy Fagan, the junior.
Easy peasy, baby. This is going to be like taking a bath for Nathan Adrian. Safe start, and look at that stroke. Beautiful stroke by one of the best sprinters in the world.
Nathan Adrian brings it home. California convincingly takes the 200 medley relay. Texas 2nd, Auburn 3rd. They defend their championship.
Unbelievable. 23-1, second fastest fastest time in history. You see Degagnac on the right, Spann on the left. But believe me, I think they're the two best breaststrokers in the field, but Degagnac went in behind. This is the last exchange. You'll see Nathan Adrian right there. He kept it safe. That was real smart. He knew this relay was won. Nobody was going to beat him coming home. 18 low coming in at the very end.
Standings with 7 of 21 events in the books. A slim lead for Cal over Texas. Stanford not too far behind. The 400 IM. This has been Michigan's race. Thanks to Tyler Clary. You see the records there. A new look this year in this race.
Yeah, and this shapes up to be a race that's going to be a big factor a little bit later on, because you've got two swimmers in here that are vying for a national championship from a team standpoint. There's Liv Amaji from Cal. He's just a junior out of Estonia. And this is one of the guys that Dave Durden has been so proud of. And then there's a guy from Texas, Brian Collins. He has been swimming very well. He's a senior, and he finaled last year for the legendary coach of Texas, Eddie Reese.
2 and 6 important, but keep an eye on lane 3. Can they keep it with the maize and blue? Kyle Whitaker from Michigan has a chance.
He does. He's the only freshman in the bunch, though. That's a big, heavy burden for a freshman to come in here and not only be the favorite, because all of a sudden you don't have Connor Dwyer. Connor Dwyer, the senior, came in with a 3:37, and he didn't final. He's been sick this meet. He ended up in the consolation final. So now all of a sudden, Trey, this is wide open, and the freshman came in with the second fastest time in the country this year. So, yeah, he might be the favorite now.
Take your mark.
I just was talking to Connor Dwyer's father just a few minutes ago, and he was telling me that he doesn't want to make any excuses, but he is really sick. And I'm talking about the NCAA Swimmer of the Year last. He had a really good fly out in 50 flat, and really not known as a butterfly, to tell you the truth. In high school, he was a great middle distance and distance freestyle, then became better and better in breaststroke. He's actually swimming the 200 breaststroke later on. He's been 155 plus, so you know he's going to be good in fly, very good in breaststroke. Backstroke his weakest stroke, so you see the rest of the field start to inch up on him.
Kyle Whitaker, the freshman from Michigan, right with him, above him in lane 3. And in lane 8 right now, Luxinger from North Carolina looking good.
Luxinger, another great North Carolina swimmer. Just a sophomore. This is a pretty young field, though. You know, you're only 3 seniors in the bunch, lanes 5, 6, and 7. I like Collins, the way he's looking from Texas. One of those seniors, looks very smooth right now. Great tone.
He was 6th last year in this event.
Yeah, look at that head, nice and steady. Nice rotation around the head. The body rotates around the head, and he's doing a nice job of kind of coming off the walls. You don't want to go too far. I really like the way Whitaker is coming off his walls.
He is taking the lead. There he is in lane 3. Just in front of Thompson from Arizona in lane 4. Can it possibly stay with Michigan for another year?
That would be amazing, especially for a freshman. Now, what's good for Whitaker right now is he's a very good freestyler, at least based on the prelims. He came home in the prelims in 51 plus, about 2 seconds faster than anybody else in this field. So if he can keep it close, I think he actually has a better freestyle, even better than Austin Thompson, who remember, had a great freestyle in high school, and it looks like it's shaping up between those two guys.
Thompson from Chandler, Arizona, a Phoenix suburb.
Universe going to be coming on, Thompson. Oh, don't keep an eye out here on Krieger down there from Georgia. He also has a great freestyle at the end.
Also in terms of the team race, lanes 2 and 6. Liv Amaji from Cal, Collins from Texas in 6. And here we go. Quite a battle.
Jack Barley always spits out some great middle distance and great IMers. Krieger right there toward the bottom, and I'm not sure how Whitaker up there with a yellow cap can even see Krieger. I think Thompson right there can at least get a view of him.
Krieger from Georgia in lane 7, and it's quite a battle.
But you're starting to think now that Whitaker thinks he's in a race with Thompson, and he's actually in a race right there with Krieger.
Krieger, the senior, out in front now.
See if Krieger sees him. Now he sees him. All of a sudden he sees him, but it's too late. The senior's going to win it.
Bill Krieger from Georgia coming from behind, and he wins it. The 400 IM champ. Whitaker from Michigan second, and it's Harris from North Carolina taking third.
What a spectacular race for Krieger. He was third last year. Watch here, look at the backstroke. He's really completely out of it at this point. He's in lane number 7 right there toward the bottom. He was 7th right there at that point, and it looked like Thompson right there in the middle. It looked like Whitaker was starting to chase him down, but Krieger had a lot of patience. He did not panic whatsoever, and I don't think Whitaker could have done anything anyway, to tell you the truth. I think Krieger had him at this point. Once Whitaker went by Thompson, he saw him, and I thought maybe that would spur him on, but it didn't, and it didn't matter. Now Krieger wins it for Coach Jack Farley.
The prize winner.
Bill, that was a fabulous race. I understand at one point you were in 7th place and came back to win. How did you do this?
You know, going out, just do what you did in training every day, and, you know, I just relied on my training and just pulled it off, I guess.
Well, you were looking at the rest of the field, but they didn't seem to be able to see you.
No, it's not really about who's swimming next to you. You're not really looking. You're just trying to swim your own race, and whoever wins hits the walls first, you know. So.
Congratulations to you and the Bulldogs.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more swimming and diving from the NCAA. Mariucci Arena on the campus of the University of Minnesota. Plenty of NCAA championships for the Minnesota hockey team. California, a 1-point edge still over Texas, with Stanford and Arizona in record holder. Austin Staub of Stanford is in this field.
This bull right there, the fastest swimmer in history, Austin Staub. He's already won the 209. He won 2 years ago. He did not compete last year for personal reasons, and then there's Cal's Tom Shields. Guess what? He's the defending champion. Both these guys have a lot of speed. They'll be able to come back. This is a great duel. I am more excited about this race as far as 2 swimmers going after it than any race at the NCAA championship. Fastest in the prelims, the only guy to break 21 at the 50, but neither one of those guys has
won the Pac-10 over Shields. Can he win it here in the NCAAs?
Real important to hit these turns with the right strokes. You don't want to be too long. Good turn there for Staub. He's out.
Staub, the senior, against Shields, a sophomore. Stanford against Cal. Lanes
just as good in the 200 fly. Shields trying to do as much as he can to stay with him.
NCAA record holder bringing it home. Staub over Shields.
Great win for Austin Staub to come back his senior year. Did not even compete last year at all. Didn't go to school. And to come back and finish this like he's done 2 events now for Austin Staub. Watch the start. You've got to be quick. You've got to be ready. Here's the 75 turn. Watch Austin Staub. Kind of crunch that turn just a little bit. Stopped at 11.8 on the end for Shields, 12 flat on the end for Staub, but it didn't matter at that point. He had the race won. But a big race for Cal because they finished 2nd and 3rd. Excuse me, 2nd and 4th. 2nd, 4th, and 8th. Big points for Cal.
Essentially, I knew I had to get out fast because of Pac-10s. I was out with Shields, and I was just barely able to touch him out. And so I knew here I had to take it out a lot faster so I could potentially bring it back just as fast, but hopefully stay ahead of Shields.
How thrilling is it to be beside a guy like Shields who you know will push you?
He's definitely my top competitor, and it's a thrill every time I race him. He's a good guy, and he's a better racer, so he's fun to race. I'll just put it that way. Very fun to race.
Well, you're fun to watch, and we appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
More sprinting from the swimmers here. We have the 100 breaststroke and the 100 back on tap when we return to Minneapolis. It's California with a comfortable lead over their rival Stanford, with Texas in 3rd place. A strong Cal flavor as we look at the 100 breast finalists. The NCAA record holder is in this event. It's Damir Deganyuk, 6'7" senior, 2-time defending champ. And California has a chance to really do some damage here in lanes 4, 5, and 6. 3 in this race. They have the top 4 breaststrokers in the NCAA.
Yeah, they come in 17 ahead of Stanford, 23 ahead of Texas. but there's the fastest swimmer in history in the 100-yard breaststroke. You see he won the championship the last 2 years, as you said, Trey. And guess what? He's bringing his buddies with him. You see all those 3 Cal guys? Look at that. They came in with the top 4 times in the country. One of them ended up in the consoles, but they come in ranked 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here in the finals.
There they are in the yellow caps. Stogonic, the Slovenian, in lane
Number 8, that's Scott Spann, who will be better in the 200 breaststroke, and that's what he qualified and swam in the Olympic Games in Beijing. But he would have to have the race of a lifetime to even get close to Stogonic. He might be able to break up this Cal stranglehold, and he needs to. Texas cannot afford to let Cal go 1, 2, 3 here. Somehow or another, Spann or somebody else, anybody, needs to break up Cal if they're going to have a chance to be able to somehow sneak in there and get by Cal in the team championship. And I'm talking about Texas and Stanford.
Spann second in this race last year, but right now it appears the Bears are 1, 2, and 3, lanes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, and then keep an eye up there in lane number 2. That's Lovelace of Stanford. He also needs to keep it close. Yeah, you're right, though. They are right there, 1, 2, and close to 3, but they're going to go 1, 2.
Stogonic. And then it's Kuhn. And also, they get 4th place with Alyan. So 1, 2, and 4 for the Bears.
Boy, that's not good for everybody else. Great for Cal. Wonderful for Cal. And the Bears brought some fans. You can hear them cheering. 50.9, the only guy to break 51. Watch him off the blocks. That's the 2nd fastest of all time. He just explodes off those blocks. He's got incredible foot speed. Trey, you can see that isolation of him right there in front of you. He's just got incredible foot speed. Doesn't let his hands get in the way, never slips. He's even short.
Definitely involved a lot of work, dedication, and just having fun at the same time.
What's better, having Cal go 1, 2, 4, or having you win the race at this point?
I think it's better 1, 2, 4. We need points, we deserve it. We have amazing breaststroke coaches and amazing guys to train with.
Congratulations.
Thank you a lot.
The 100 back, an opportunity for Cal to push further ahead in the team race. The great Ryan Lochte holds the records in the NCAA and the American marks. As we look at the lane assignments, there's Cal in lane 4 with Tom Shields. Look at lanes 3, 4, and 5. Could be one right there.
Very important race for Cal and Texas. Now, Cal's up. You see Shields, he's just coming off the Hunter fly. If he did not have that Hunter fly just a couple minutes ago, then I would consider him the clear favorite. But because of that, it might take the edge off just a little bit, which opens the door for somebody like Cragen of Texas to get in there. He has the most early speed. Cal's up by 55 points over Texas. That sounds like a lot, but Cal has no divers. Texas has a diver in the final, so that's going to hurt him.
Shields is borrowing Guy Barnier's goggles. His goggles broke prior to the race here.
Well, that's a bit, and I was able to win the race, but it was unnerving. Cragen in lane 5, like I said, has the most early speed, comes in a little bit more fresh, and Texas desperately needs this. They really need a win here. No question, Shields is the best underwater, and he's the best closer. If Shields and Cragen finish first at the 75, I give it to Shields. Also, keep an eye on lane number 3, Ress. Eric Ress, you mentioned him at the very beginning. He also has great closing speed, and he's out fast, so he's looking really good. Could be a big win for the Hoosiers.
He has the fastest time this year.
And not an upset. This would not be an upset whatsoever if Ress could get in there and win this.
Ress and Shields, lanes 3 and 4 right now in a battle.
Boy, I like the Ress. Oh, but Shields came up right there at the end. Shields is going to get him.
Shields in lane 4, and he edges out Ress. It's Cregan from Texas.
That is an incredible swim, Trey. That was an incredible swim. If you only knew how quick of a turnaround this guy just had that he got out of the 100 fly, where he went a 44.9 and he goes 45 flat here in the 100 backstroke. He was a half a second faster than anybody else in the field the last 25 yards. It was a tremendous swim for Ress. 45.1 for him. Just 12 100ths of a second. Boy, what a way to stick the wall.
Of Indiana, Texas Cole Cregan finishing in third place. Cal extending their lead, coming off the sprints as expected, and they up their lead in the team points, 324 points. Texas in second, Stanford a distant third. When we come back, we'll take a look at the defending champ in the 3-meter, Purdue's David Badaya. Welcome back to the University of Minnesota Aquatic Center. Earlier in the meet, David Badaya earning his 5th NCAA championship. Now time to go for number 6.
And in the 1-meter competition, he really put the contest out of range in round 5 of 6 when he did a reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twist, scored 8.5s and 9s on the dive, and was more than 20 points ahead at that point going into the final round.
Here's the defending champ who's getting a run for his money from Nick McCrory, trying to get back to that championship form.
And once again, David Badaya was running away with the competition in the 3-meter until his 4th round dive, when he missed an inward 3.5 somersault, scoring 4 4.5s and 5s from the judges, and that just turned the contest into a real race for the first 4 competitors, really.
A look at the standings after 5 rounds. David Badaya moves back into the lead by 1.5 points after 5 rounds. Blaha of Arizona State second, Grant Nell of Texas A&M third, as we head into the 6th and final round. One of the challengers for the 3-meter championship, Constantine Blaha, he sits in second right now. One of 2 Pac-10 divers on the 3-meter, along with Harrison Jones, trying to challenge the defending champ Badaya and McCrory.
Here goes Constantine, and he's going to set the pace, see what everybody else has to do. And he was over the end of the springboard. I mean, I'm surprised. He's been so good in his hurdles. Look, he's leaning forward. His feet on the end, but he's leaning a bit forward. And this is a bit of a miss in the last round. He had this opportunity to really put the pressure on the field right here. And his arms bending, that means he's out of balance in the hurdle. Does a pretty good job of compensating, but it's not his best takeoff. He's been doing beautiful ones.
71.4 with 7s and 6s on that dive for Blaha. Grant Nell, the junior from Texas A&M, he sits in third. He had a great finish, the 1-meter in second, and he's a challenger here for 3-meter honors.
And this is a huge dive. It's a 4.5 somersault. He has the highest degree of difficulty by 4/10 in this round, and he's less than 8 points behind David Badaya, the leader. So if he gets high scores on this, watch out. Oh, that's what he needed. We're finally seeing somebody step up. And Jay LaRue, the coach at Texas A&M, has got to be thrilled about this, because he has done so much for these Aggies and their confidence. And this is a fabulous forward 3.5 at 3.8 degree of difficulty. That's a huge payoff.
98.80. 9s in there primarily, some 8s as well. A great dive from the Aggie to put him in contention for the title. David Badaya from Purdue, the favorite, the defending champ. He needs a big dive here after Grant Nell puts the pressure on him.
Yeah, we're going to find out what David Badaya is made of competitively right here, because he needs 9s. And we know the max score the judges can give is 10, so he needs 9s on this dive to go ahead of Grant Nell and put this contest away. Oh my goodness! That was a fabulous dive. Fabulous. It's a forward 2.5 with 2 twists, and his feet right on the end of the board, reaches up above his head vertically. A beautiful twist on axis, goes in the water vertically, and just that teacup worth of splash. Maybe you'd take off a half a point to a point for that.
The judges love it. 91.80. The champ from Purdue defends his championship. Nick McCrory now, after Nell and Budaya come up with big dives here in the final round, round 6. Currently in 4th. He needs to come up with a huge dive here on his final attempt.
Oh, yeah. He basically would need 10s. He would need 10s on this dive. But this has been an interesting contest because these guys are actually competing. They're not just in their own little bubble. They're actually competing, and it's great to see. Well, his knees buckled a little bit. They gave out. That happens sometimes if you bend your arms, you drop your arms in the hurdle, or you move your head right here. You drop your arms a little bit too soon instead of stretching into the springboard, and that's why that dive is not all the way vertical going in the water. So a slight miss for McCrory in the last round, so he will not be first or second in this contest.
The 7's not good enough. 71.4 for McCrory. Drew Livingston, the final dive here in the 3-meter, currently in 5th place, and the junior trying to close out quite a career at Texas. He'll have one more year next year. He's a junior.
We've seen a lot of double twisting 2.5s, and what you look for is height and nice twisting mechanics, smooth, straight body twist. And you see Drew's toes were hanging off the end of the springboard. They were he almost slipped off the end of the springboard. His feet were over the end.
David Budaya, a big final dive to win the 3-meter championship by less than a point. Comes from behind and holds off Grant Nell, the hard charger from Texas A&M. Konstantin Blaha, 3rd. And there's your winner, the defending champ, and he does it in the 3-meter. He needed the big dive in round 6, and he got it.
He did. You know, he came through in that final round and barely won this contest.
Updating the standings through 13 events, California with a commanding lead. Texas picks up 14 points, though, on the Bears with the diving from Drew Livingston. Welcome back to the NCAA Men's Swimming and Diving Championship. We want to remind you that the championship team here will receive 40 points toward their school's quest for the Capital One Cup. For more information, log on to ESPN.com/Capital One Cup. Setting the scene here, Brett Frazier wins the 200, Matt McLean from Virginia the 500, and a surprise in the 1650, Michael McBroom of Texas. Big race for the Longhorns.
It was a huge race for the Longhorns as they cut that lead by Cal by almost half. Like I said, this is going to be a great race to the national title.
The Texas Longhorns picked up 31 points as we look at the updated standings now. And they make a move on California, still in 1st place. Texas now in 2nd place after picking up big points. That brings us to the 200 back. The records here, Tyler Clary, the NCAA mark, Ryan Lochte, the American record. Quite an individual matchup, lanes 3 and 4. Corey Chitwood, the defending champ.
Yeah, he would love to send Coach Frank Bush out with a win here. Coach Bush, a longtime coach at Arizona, is going to be the national team director. Chitwood's going to be very tough to beat, but I like Eric Russ. He's the top qualifier from Indiana. He dropped 2 seconds off his lifetime best, Trey, to take the top seed, and he's the only one to break 140 in the prelims.
Looking at the lane assignments, we could see another Texas push team points race on the comeback trail. Lanes 2 and 8.
Yeah,
Surhoff and Cragen.
You're so right. Right there, Texas. You've got to start counting points now. Right now, they're 35 points behind. You said 32 points. Let's count the consoles. We got to start counting these consoles. They do amount up to points. Cal only scored 3 points in that consolation final. There you see the 2 Texas swimmers, Austin Surhoff and now Cole Cragen, who actually want to swim off just to get into this race. So between Cragen and Surhoff, they're going to pick up, I'm guessing, at least 30 points. All of a sudden, you've got a tie game, baby. This is going to be a lot of fun going into this relay. I just did not think this was going to happen. I thought Cal, after that second session, was going to run away with it, but Texas came out to swim this last session and started putting bodies in the finals. And stranger things have happened. Cal's going to be a heavy favorite later on, but if Texas can do what they did, you know, just in the mile alone, you figure that win in the mile was huge. This would be huge just to move up just a little bit for Texas. But let's concentrate there in the middle of the pool. Eric Rest, very steady all the way throughout in the prelims. He was 23 plus going out. And then Trey, he was like 25-1, 25-3, 25-3, so he was very consistent.
Right now, Marco Loughran from Florida with Rest in lane 4 above him. Loughran in lane 5.
Well, Loughran actually took it faster out in the prelims than Rest. He was 48.5 in the prelims. Rest was 48.9, but Rest really took off after that. There's Rest right there.
And then Chitwood from Arizona in lane 3.
And this just shaped up to be a great race because from top to bottom, you got any of these guys that come in there and pop off a good one. You take Rest, for example, goes his best time by over 2 seconds.
Chitwood, the defending champ in lane 3. They're out very fast, 48.17.
And Chitwood's best time, right there at the top, right there. You see him right above Rest with a red cap. There he is, right there. His best time is 1:39.2. That's actually faster than Rest. So if he can just do what he did last year at the NCAAs, I think Chitwood could beat him. But just what we talked about, it's going to come down to these 2 guys.
Chitwood and Rest, Arizona and Indiana, lanes 3 and 4. What a battle.
What a good push-off for both those guys. Look at this, look at this.
Chitwood and Rest, lanes 3 and 4. And it's close. It's going to go to Chitwood, the Arizona Wildcat. Rest from Indiana, second. Loughran from Florida, third. He defends his title.
Was that beautiful? They look like 2 synchronized swimmers coming in the last 10 yards, didn't they? You've got to watch this last 10 yards. They were literally stroke for stroke. They looked like they were in unity all the way in. Look at that. Boom, boom, just stroke for stroke. And then 12/100ths of a second was a difference. What a beautiful race between these 2 guys. Eric Rest, just a sophomore. Chitwood, a junior. They still got a long way to go. Texas, by the way, 6th and 8th there, Trey, so big points for Texas.
What a finish in the 200 back as Corey Chitwood holds off Eric Rest. Marco Loughran from Florida taking 3rd. Chitwood defends his title. Here's Cynthia.
Corey, congratulations. I know it's terrific to defend a title, but you and your partner right beside you look like we could not tell until we saw the scoreboard who won. How did you do that in the final 5 yards?
So just training every day. I've been blessed to have my coach, Frank Bush. It's really just all for him. It's his last NCAAs, and that race was for him. I just wanted to do it for him.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Frank leaving. He's been there for so many years, and the guys are very emotional about him leaving. What does all this mean?
Oh, gosh. It's hard to put into words. Frank's just the greatest coach in the world. This whole country's just, it's great for them to have him as leader for swimming for this whole country. So I'm so sad to see him leave, but I know he's going to take the sport where it needs to go for the entire country.
Well, it's a wonderful tribute to Frank. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Whew. Wow.
A happy Frank Bush after that Chitwood win. When we come back, the 100 free and sprint specialist Nathan Adrian on deck for Minneapolis.
One of the best sprinters in the world, Trey. He really anchors this Cal sprint core.
50 freestyle. As we look at the lane assignments, a focus on the middle lanes. Adrian in lane 4.
Yeah, keep an eye in the middle of the pool, lane 4. That's Nathan Adrian right there with a yellow cap. To his left is Adam Brown, also a senior from Auburn. Those two guys get after it this first 25. Brown was a little hesitant on that start. That gave Nathan Adrian the advantage going into this wall. Watch him as he comes off. A huge wave comes into this wall. Adrian was able to slip up underneath that wave just a little bit better than Brown on his right, and he finishes with a win for the Bears, 6/100ths of a second.
Adrian the winner, followed by Adam Brown of Auburn and Jimmy Fagan of Texas taking third. The sprints continue with the 100 free. A look at the marks, and Nathan Adrian again in the spotlight. The two-time defending champion. The evolution of the 100 free. The records through the years started in 1928 with a 25-yard pool. Minnesota held the record. 81, Rowdy Gaines. Look at that mark.
How about that old man, 30 years ago.
And Cesar Cielo under 41 back in 2008. Lightning quick, but the focus again on Nathan Adrian. Barely made it to the final. He's in lane 8.
Yeah, his time was 42:39. Just snuck in there by 9/100ths. But you know what? This guy, you could put him in the lane by the gutter and he'd still swim fast, but he's in that outside lane, which is a pretty good lane actually, because he's sort of that outside smoke. It's going to be hard to see him out there.
We look at the lanes, middle of the pool, obviously a focal point with Adam Brown, but 5 through 8, Texas and Cal a focal point as well.
Yeah, no doubt. This is pretty much a wash right now with Cal up by 8.5 points over Texas. You've got to figure this is not going to change very much after this event. But the next one, it will definitely change. Watch the middle of the pool. As you see Nathan Adrian out there in lane number 8, he'll be at the very bottom of your screen. And like I said, this guy is so fast. One of the best sprinters in the world today. He is going to be America's best hope for gold next year in London. But right there in the middle of the pool, Adam Brown in lane 4, one of those great Auburn sprinters. He could be the key to victory here. Brown has just looked so good. He got second in the 50 to Nathan Adrian by only 8/100ths of a second. So you know he's got the speed to match Adrian. Not sure if he's got enough to be able to match Adrian the last 5 yards. But look at what he's doing already. Look how fast he is going out.
Going for his first individual title, Adam Brown.
Wow, 19.5 going out. And then keep an eye on Fagan from Texas right there. This would be huge for Texas if they can sneak in there and get second.
And Adrian in lane 8 at the bottom.
Oh my gosh, look at Nathan Adrian.
Adrian in lane 8. And he wins it. California with Adrian. Fagan of Texas second. Brown of Auburn third.
How do you like that? This guy is just so incredible to watch. Watch him off the blocks first. You see that? He gets a nice, crisp, clean entry into the water. He comes up swimming forward. That's what's so crucial here. He's got great instincts for turn right here at the bottom. Watch. He really knows how to run that line under that huge wave here. Huge wall of water. Not as much on the outside. And then he gets into that full stroke recovery, that full straight arm recovery. Doesn't breathe the last 3 or 4 strokes. Third fastest time in history. Huge win for the Bears as they go for their first title in 31 years.
Nathan Adrian blazes away to win the 100 free, a 3-time champion. Texas finishing 2nd and 5th. A strong finish to continue to push Cal. The Bears pick up 1 point on Texas. Here's Cynthia with the champ.
Nathan, the swim of a lifetime. Not only 2-time defending, but tell me what this means for the Cal Bears at this point.
You know, going into this, I knew that we had to move up a little bit. So, you know, that 8th place seed was a perfect spot to get that outside lane and move up.
Okay, talk to me about this being your last individual race.
it's incredible. I'm so glad that I was next to Graham. You know, one of my best friends at school. Been through a lot together, and it was really fun swimming next to him.
Well, it's been great watching you swim. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate that. We look at the standings now through 17 events. California picks up 1 point on Texas. They now lead by 9.5 points as we come down the stretch. Norton Thornton, the California head coach of the '80 National Championship team. That was the last time California won the team title. Coming up, the 200 breast as Cal and Texas are again in the spotlight. Welcome back to the University of Minnesota Aquatic Center. The 200 free relay, the first race of the meet. Stanford impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. They were not the top qualifier, but boy, they put on a great show to get the Cardinal off to a huge start. Remember, relays double point, but they only won the race by 8/100ths of a second over Cal and Auburn.
Close was not an issue in the 400 medley relay.
Yeah, they weren't even the top qualifiers, but Cal just blew away the field. They had Degonic on there. They had Adrian, Shields, Barnia. They just destroyed everybody. 3:02 plus, winning the race by almost 4 seconds.
And the Gators flexing their muscle in the 800 free relay.
They sure did. They put their top 2 swimmers first, Dwyer and then also Frazier, Brett Frazier, who won the individual 200. They kind of ran away with it too by winning by almost 2 seconds over Virginia.
The team race is tight as we look at the 200 breast. The records by Versfeld and Alexandrov, NCAA and American. And an interesting setup in terms of the lane assignments. In this one, Texas and Cal bunched together lanes 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Again, it's like a broken record with these guys. You see lane number 2, Degonic already winning the 100 breaststroke. He has more speed than anybody else in this field by far, but could have a hard time that last 50. Nick DiNocenzo, another Texas great, win his best time in the prelims, but more important for Texas, you've got 3 of these guys in the top 8. There's 1, 2. You see Nick over there hugging his teammate, Eric Freeland. If they could somehow go 1, 2, 3, does that change the landscape of this team title or what, Trey?
It would, and with Scott Spann in lane 8, another guy you got to keep an eye on.
That's a good point because you've got Scott Spann who's in lane 8. He qualified 8th, and guess what? His best time is over a second faster than anybody else. So you've got Texas swimmers seated 1, 2, and Spann, whose lifetime best is better than anybody else. They have a chance to go 1, 2, 3. Now, Trey, keep an eye in the middle of the pool. There you see DiNocenzo, the top qualifier in 4. Teammate Freeland right there next to him in 5. And then at the very bottom, there's Spann in lane 8.
Take your mark.
Much bigger race for Texas than it is for Cal. Texas desperately needs to go at least 1, 2, 3. Excuse me, 1, 2. If they can go 1, 2, 3, that would be a big plus in closing that gap with Cal.
DiNocenzo, the Big 12 champ in lane 4 for Texas.
Spann doing a good job there at the very bottom, taking it out. That's what he needed to do. Cal, remembers, got 2 swimmers in here too, so don't forget about them. They're toward the top of your screen in lanes 2 and 3. Now, Degonic, obviously, as I said earlier, has the most speed. You know, it's unusual. He's not really taking it out. He's not going to be able to bring it back, so you might want to just forget about him, but I like the way Aljan's looking for Cal up there with the yellow cap. He's right above DiNocenzo.
And there's Spann in lane 8. Maybe a strong back half from him.
Right, he normally has a great back half. Remember, he made the Olympic team in 2008 in the 200 breaststroke. So he did that with his back half. Let's see if he can do it here. I like the way Freeland's looking for Texas, though. He's inched up out to a lead.
Freeland, the junior for Texas in lane 5 with a bit of an edge.
You know what's really nice right now, for Cal anyway, that's Aljan. Look at him. If he can somehow break up this Texas stranglehold, this would just be huge for the Cal Bears. Right now, lane 5, there's Freeland. Right above him is DiNocenzo, and there's Aljan. Spann is out of it.
Eric Freeland trying to get big points for Texas, and he's in a battle right now. Aljan in lane 3 for California, the senior.
And it doesn't really matter right now because Aljan is going to at least finish
title here, and he has it for the Texas Longhorns. Finishing in second, Aljon from Cal, and D'Innocenzo from Texas in third. Spann takes sixth for the Horns.
What a beautiful swim for Eric Freeland. The junior really came through for Texas. He needed to, but, and it's a big but, because somehow or another, Aljon got in there and got second for the California Bears, which is huge for them. Remember, we've only got a couple events left to go. You can see right there in lane number 5, Freeland just did a beautiful job of coming in and really being tight and low on that turn. Aljon is up there in lane number 3. D'Innocenzo's kind of sandwiched in there between them. And watch this final lunge. He throws his head to the fingertips, and that was really the difference. 1:52.4. That is so fast. And really, it wasn't close at the end, almost a half a second over Aljon. The Texas Longhorns get 1, 3, and 6, though. That's a lot of points for Longhorns.
Big race for Texas. The Longhorns take 1, 3, and 6 in the 200 breast. The champ, Freeland. Here's Cynthia.
Nick, obviously a really big race for the Longhorns. Congratulations to you. Talk to me about the team race, if you will.
Right now, we're up by half a point. They got 2 up in the fly, and we got a dive run platform. I have a feeling it's going to come down the relay. It's a close one.
What does this mean to you, winning this title? This is your first final.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. I've been this is my goal all year. I was right. That's the best time by a second or so. It was an amazing race.
The highly anticipated 200 fly, a wide open race as you look at the NCAA and American marks. Tom Shields of California in the spotlight. He has the NCAA record. He's thinking about the championship. Great storylines in this one, Rowdy, with Shields obviously in lane 7.
A half a point separating these two teams, Cal and Texas. Texas doesn't have anybody in this race.
Sullivan in lane 2. Keep an eye on him as well for the Bears.
There's Shields right there. He comes in with a top time by over a second. As you said, he had the NCAA record. He could break 140. He's having this kind of competition. Already won the 100 fly and the 100 back, then 132 plus on the relay. He's just done it all for Cal. What a fairy tale story, though, Trey, for Mark Dilla to get a victory here. He won this event last year, only to get DQ'd on a questionable one-handed turn. Now a senior, it would be a great way for him to go out a champ in his final race as a Georgia Bulldog. Top qualifier in lane 4, Boyer from Stanford, also a huge big-time swimmer. Madwed in lane 3. Boy, this really shapes up to be a good one.
Shields, the sophomore, in lane 7. In the yellow cap.
He has just really taken this event to amazing heights. He spends, like I said, almost 60% of the race. Watch him right there. Watch what he does underwater. He's made this stroke into such a leg-driven stroke, Trey. He digs those hands with that high catch. He has great range of motion. Look at the range of motion he has. Incredible flexibility.
Dilla in lane 5 right now, the advantage in lane 5, 5 and 7.
I was just getting ready to say, oh, what a story this would be for Mark Dilla. You just kind of have to pull for him just a little bit just to see what he does.
Under NCAA record pace here.
Now Dilla has probably a better last 50 than Shields. Problem, does he see him? I'm not sure he even has gotten a view of him. Now Dilla will breathe to his left, coming home the last 25. Boy, what a great swim for Tom Shields at this point. Oh, he had a tight turn there on that last turn. Gave a huge momentum boost to Dilla.
Dilla trying to close out his career with a high fashion statement.
Dilla's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
He's got it.
He did it. He did it. Mark Dilla did it.
yards left to go, but watch his turn by Dilla. He saw Shields. Shields crunched that turn, and then he came sailing off that turn. I'm talking about Dilla. But think about the story. He had this same reaction last year. He comes in, he finishes the race, he looks back, and he says, I won. He goes crazy. But he got disqualified. Guess what, Mark? There's no DQ this time. You are the champion.
An emotional win in the 200 fly for Mark Dilla of Georgia. Bobby Bollier of Stanford second, and Tom Shields of Cal takes third.
Mark, congratulations. I know it doesn't make up for last year, but does it take away from the sting from what happened with the DQ last year?
100%. I've worked this whole past year for this one race today. And to see everything come to fruition and just everything come together like it did tonight, you know, to end my college career on this, right here, this swim, can't ask for much more. Last year was a bummer, but I'll take this one, absolutely.
Our updated standings, California gains 27 points. They're now up 26.5 points going into platform diving. The highly anticipated David Badaya goes for his third title in Minneapolis. One of the great traditions here at the University of Minnesota. Dan Cook, the national anthem trumpeter, going off the platform. 20 years performing his specialty. We'll be back with The Real Deal next. Welcome back to the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championship, where Cal holds a 26.5-point lead over Texas for the team title. The Longhorns' Drew Livingston, the only diver from either team in platform, where the most dramatic dives are often the required arm stand. Cynthia Potter looks at the arm stand dives in our Home Depot coaching clinic.
For today's Home Depot coaching clinic, I've climbed to the top of the 10-meter platform, where I am joined by Purdue coach Adam Soldati. One of the most interesting dives on 10 meter, and the dive that thrills the fans maybe the most, is an arm stand dive, which is a requirement for all the men. And Adam, I know you've taught arm stand dives before. How do you teach somebody an arm stand, and what are the criteria for knowing this is teachable?
You know, I'm gonna get all kinds of athletes that are gonna come in my door. Some are gonna be able to hold handstands, some are not. Right. Probably the most important element to holding the handstand is flexibility, and then strength, and then balance. So flexibility, you need to really be able to get your hips up over the top of your head, and depending on whether you're gonna press up or kick up, flexibility really becomes a factor. And then, believe it or not, there's an interesting place in your body you need strength, and it's in your fingers.
Really?
Much of your handstand, once you get up, is gonna be balanced by the tips of your fingers. If you're going over, you're gonna really push against your fingertips to hold that from going back.
We know that the judges start judging that handstand from the minute the feet leave the platform. Yeah. What would ideally be the best way to impress the judges with that overall impression?
The most impressive way to come into a handstand would be to press up into a handstand and pike press. And I would say the most impressive, that's going to demonstrate the most flexibility, the most strength and balance, is going to be a straight leg pike press up.
So a straight leg press up.
Use those fingers, you got it.
Okay, thank you so much for helping us with this.
You bet.
In the platform contest, Nick McCrory set the pace with his first round.
4.5 somersault, 3.7 degree of difficulty.
That'll get the jump happen, goes in so vertically, makes it look easy. Greg Louganis-like.
Nines or better, 101.7 in terms of degree of difficulty on his dives.
Absolutely. Badaya does dives that are in the 3.6 and 3.7 range. He has two dives that only receiving 4s on the dive, which dropped him way down in the standings. Even though he was still in second place, there was no standings with a back 2.5 with 2.5 twist. It was his best.
48.90 points.
Nick McCrory was as aggressive but cool as I've ever seen a platform diver. He scored a couple of 10s on 2 dives, and this was one of them, the last dive, a back 2.5 with 2.5. His average was 9.13 out of 10 points.
Duke's Nick McCrory wins it again. Purdue's David Badaya finishes in second place.
Nick, such a wonderful job. You got off to a great start with that first dive. You ended it with 100-point plus on the last dive. Injured shoulder and all, how do you press through something like this?
You know, training hard, and even with my shoulder injury, I've still been, you know, trying to do a
championship from Minneapolis. Welcome back to Minneapolis. Drew Livington here. Texas needs to win this race. Cal has to
have Cal finish 6th or worse. The most important thing, I think, for Cal at this point. Really got some horses moving off this race, too. You've got Adam Brown in lane number 5. He was 3rd. Texas right there in 6th. That's Dax Hill. He was 5th in the 100. There, the yellow cap is not going with their best swimmer. They're saving that for Nathan Adrian.
Race Moore, Daniels, and then Adrian on the anchor leg.
This is what you want to watch. Watch the start. Watch the start right here for Cal. Yellow cap, very safe. Very safe there for Josh Daniels, the senior.
Cal in lane 4. Texas in lane 6.
Texas doing a pretty good job of hanging in there. Remember, their 2 best swimmers, there's Jimmy Fagan right there. Their 2 best swimmers, Fagan is their best swimmer, are going 1st and 2nd. Texas really doesn't have anybody after this. They're kind of spending everything they've got the first 2 legs.
Right now, Auburn in lane 5 with the lead.
Once again, keep an eye on Cal. That's what you want to keep an eye on right there. Watch the start for the 3rd swimmer, Shields. Yep, very safe. Very safe. So far, so good.
Tom Shields, a sophomore in lane 4 for California. Thinking about a team championship. It would be their first since 1980.
Like I said, Texas will start to come back to the field here, especially when Nathan Adrian comes in and anchors. Auburn, Texas, they both had to give their team at least a body length lead on Cal, because if Cal's anywhere close, they've got one of the best sprinters in the world and an NCAA champ. Coming up next, Cal's going to win it. Cal's going to win the relay, and they're going to win the meet.
California in lane 4, looking for this one, but more importantly, the team title.
Well, you know, it's funny, Cal is right in front of our monitors, right in front of us, and all of a sudden you heard this huge cheer right when Nathan went in the water. Not so much that Nathan went in the water, but it was a safe start.
Nathan Adrian, the star of California swimming, trying to bring a team title in his final swim.
Can you imagine his feeling? What is he feeling right now? Can you just imagine his senior year? He's never won a team title, 31 years, and the Bears are going to do it.
Here comes Adrian, looking for their first NCAA title since 1980, and they have it. They win the 400 relay, but more importantly, the team crown, the Cal Golden Bears.
Beautiful moment for California.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Coach Dave Durden, who has just done a sensational job at Cal, has slowly built this huge powerhouse. So well deserved. You can see the fans. So many alumni have come back to this meet.
The Golden Bears finish strong in the final event, the 400 freestyle relay, as Nathan Adrian on the anchor leg finishes it off. Auburn in 2nd place, USC in 3rd. More importantly, the Bears are national champions, NCAA champs for the first time in 31 years. Known for their sprints, they got a challenge from Texas, and they hold off the Longhorns in the final race here in Minneapolis. Here's Rowdy Gaines with the Golden Bears, the newly crowned champs.
Dave,
What does this mean to you, and what does it mean to the Cal Nation?
You just look at our alumni up there, our fans, our family, our arena family that puts us in the best suit technology, our Generate family that fuels us with Vitargo through the weekend. It's just such an awesome experience with these guys too, our senior class. I came in 4 years ago with these guys as freshmen, and it's just wonderful to finish this thing with them.
You talk about these guys, and obviously you talk about Nathan and Tom and doing the work, but it just seemed like everybody seemed to chip in.
Yeah, we had to nickel and dime our way to get here, but you know, everyone played a role, and everyone played their part, and it was fun.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you very much.
First national title in 31 years.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, is it time to celebrate?
Ladies and gentlemen, the California Golden Bears into the pool.
With the traditional championship dip in the pool, California finally celebrating their first championship in 31 years. Congratulations to the Cal Golden Bears, 2011 NCAA swimming and diving champions. For Cynthia Potter and Rowdy Gaines, I'm Trey Bender saying goodbye from Minneapolis. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.